Hello everybody, how's it going today? I'm glad you're here. If you like reviews, you're getting a 5-in-1 today. So I'm just going to be focusing in on some products that are new to me and yeah, just bringing you my take on them. Most are drugstore, but one is high-end, but I think it's going to be a very intriguing product to a lot of you. It's this one. It's a comeback product. The Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Stick. I don't know if you heard that this is back again. In their little PR materials, they're acting like it's just brand new. I'm like, I remember this well. They say new complexion rescue luminous skin tint stick. #1 tinted moisturizer in the US. They're referring to complexion rescue. Now in an on-the-go stick, I loved this stuff. It was without a doubt one of my favorite stick foundations. It's not like a super full coverage product, but it has really beautiful coverage, I think. And I'm really enjoying this new one all over again. I even have the shade Cashew 3.5, and that was my shade before as well. I don't remember the 3.5, but I definitely remember the Cashew because that's one of my favorite nuts. You don't forget about a good cashew, right? So the stick just looks like this. It's pretty much the same shape and size as before, just a slightly different color on the outside. It's more of a pure gold. And last time, wasn't it almost like a soft rose gold, I think? Anyway, we're just gonna swipe this on. I've got a zit that just cropped up on my forehead, so that's fun. But you see the glide this has, it absolutely just sweeps on and you feel so much moisture as it crosses the skin. There is absolutely no drag and just tons of moisture. It might be even a little more moisture than I remember from the first go around with this product. Like obviously it's been a while since I've used that and I always associated the original one with a real ease going across the skin, but I don't know if you can just see on my cheek there, the amount of light that's picking up. Like that really laid down some moisture. So I'm going to now take my e.l.f., this is just the e.l.f. foundation buffing brush, and you'll notice me just sort of tapping this in all over the skin. And the look will just be absolutely radiant when all is said and done. As those swipes blend out, there's going to be a little less shine on the skin, but there is going to be some moisture. I feel like a dry skin friend out there would really enjoy this. If you're extremely oily, I don't know. I'm not sure this would be your best pick. But it wore really well on me. I would say I surprisingly did not notice a major breakdown in any area, but I did touch up in the usual zones, which would be kind of a T-zone touch up, maybe a little between the brow, looking a little oily in those areas. I'm a normal skin type and I can be a little combo in the nose area. Sometimes I'm like a seasonal skin type. Like right now, actually, we've just gone from feeling practically spring-like to having this burst of cold air and wind. So I think my skin's gonna really like this today. But during other times, I feel like I might show a little more oil. But generally, I don't go too far one direction or the other on dryness and oiliness. I'm kind of just in the middle. And my skin behaved really well with this. Now look at what you're getting all over. That's not a full coverage. Even though I pretty much swiped this over every part of my skin, I didn't leave a lot of gaps. This is not something that's intended to build up to full coverage. They're calling this like a stick version of their Complexion Rescue, which is, again, not a full coverage product. It's tinting the skin. It's evening me out all over. I'm still looking at my skin thinking, yeah, I do want concealer in some certain places, but I feel like I'm maybe verging on medium coverage with it. Not a strong medium. Like medium is a range, right? And we're back here toward the light end of medium, not the side of medium that's tipping into full. My skin looks so healthy. It looks radiant. It feels dewy to the touch. So there's where I say, like, dry skin folks might enjoy that. But I want to say the old one, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure somebody out there remembers, didn't it contain an SPF? This is available in 20 shades, by the way. Vegan and cruelty-free, of course. But yeah, I thought the original had an SPF. My favorite parts about this are how it's just unmatched on the smoothness of the glide. I love the overall evening out of my skin, and I do think the radiance that I get from this is really, really pretty. Wears fairly well on me. Like I said, and I can even tend to get oily in some areas, but I didn't witness a total breakdown in the product, which was nice. So what I'm going to go ahead and do before we move on to the next product I'm going to chat about, I'm going to do some concealer and some powder and just kind of finish off the complexion. Alrighty friends, so I finished off the complexion. I still feel like I've got some healthy glow going through, but we did cover where we needed to cover, and I did that. I just grabbed, you know, a random concealer that I like. This is the Multitasker from Rimmel. I wear that in the shade shade Sand. Blended that all out, and then I set it with the NYX Wonder Snatch. This is in the shade Sugar Serve. That's on my T-zone, and obviously that in those areas took away any kind of tackiness that I had from the Complexion Rescue stick. But then I'm like, you know, I'm not sure I like the feeling of just how dewy I'm left with the stick and the stick alone, but I don't want to lose all the radiance. So I just went to my Super Stay Hybrid Powder Foundation here in shade 128, and I just really lightly, it kind of surprised me how little it actually took, but I used kind of a fluffy brush with it. I used this little Monge, you know, domed brush. It's not going to pick up too much with a gentle touch, and I just went all over my face with that, and then I touched it. I'm like, okay, that works for me. I think as this lives on your skin just a little longer after the initial blend, it's not quite as juicy, but just a little powder on top can help. And I'm still feeling like I've got some radiant hydration there. I just don't feel like if I touch my face, it's gonna immediately transfer off now. That's always my fear. But after that, I did a little bit of bronzer. So you're seeing some of the CoverGirl True Blend Skin Enhancer in the Caramel Truffle shade. This is the one bronzer that I have from that line, and you can see that pretty baked marbling in there. We're getting shades of tan, but also some glow within that almost looks a little rose gold in there. And it's tough because I was using this, I used my angled brush with that, and I've got like this little random zit up here, and I had to reconceal. Like brushing back and forth with bronzer kind of undoes it a little bit. So then I went back and I tapped more concealer in, but now I feel like I'm seeing the concealer, so just adding a little more. But I enjoy this bronzer. It's pretty foolproof. It's not too light, not too dark. And yeah, it does offer a little radiance to the skin, but I still feel like I didn't put bronzer up here, but I'm still seeing the radiance from the Complexion Rescue stick. But the new thing, the new tidbit here is that I grabbed a new blush. I wanted to try this one that I'd seen so many people talking about from the Skin Enhancer range, the Baked Luminous Blush. This is the one called Rose Latte. It looks like this, and guys, I looked over what they had at Walmart. They had two, and one of them had a lot more of the light swirl in it than this. And then I saw this one and I thought, you know, I bet I have more success with this because this kind of mauve-y color, there's more of it in here and a little bit less of the marbling. I just thought that might turn out better for me color-wise and show more color. The first two blushes that I got, by the way, in case you were wondering, I have the Dark Berry, Berry Punch, and I have Please Please Pink. Both are great. I really enjoy them. I was just wearing the Berry Punch at some point over the weekend, really lightly. It's so nice. But this one is gonna be, you know, your softer option. So I'm going into that with my e.l.f. blush brush, and I'm gonna apply it just, you know, how I would. I'm not picking up too much, and you can see it's giving soft color. It's buildable. I see why people like this, because a lot of people are happy with a light, easy blush. And you can see, like, even when my face is not turned, you can tell that's given me something there for the back part of the face. And then coming forward, you can see the color a bit better. But I enjoy it too. I feel like it doesn't give as profound of a color as, say, if I'm comparing this to a Laura Geller Baked Blush and Brighten. Those are a bit more immediate with the pigment that shows on my skin. I do feel like I'm operating more so maybe with an Hourglass type of blush here, because look, I'm getting the look, but it's just, this is a more subtle option, and it's building a little slower than my other two. And that's okay. The other one that they have is like strawberry something, and I feel like I'd love that one too. I was actually kind of looking between the two, and I thought, I want to see what this one's all about, because I feel like everybody who talks about this line is holding up this blush. So it's giving me this soft, dusty rose cheek with maybe just a little bit of glow involved, but not tons. And I would have to say I like it. You know, it reminds me of the Milani Rose blush, Romantic Rose. If you have Romantic Rose, I feel like this is a very similar color takeaway to that. But I don't even know what would be my favorite blush that I have, because I like the pink for its, you know, ability to pop but not be too over the top. I really like the one with the dark purpley swirls, because that one's kind of mysterious and you're like, how is this gonna look? But it really looks pretty, just very softly done. It looks so nice, but this is the don't even need to think about it type of blush. Throw it on and it does look good. However, you can spend less. Like, you could get Soft Mink from the CoverGirl Classic color. The blushes that are packaged like this, that they're still selling, this is this kind of a look, you know? It's one of these where, yes, I'm glad I tried it. I put it on and I'm thinking, okay, this is pleasant, I enjoy. But honestly, if I sat down there with my blush drawer for 5 more minutes, I would probably find a handful of others that are also close to this shade. So not incredibly unique, but if you're into this whole CoverGirl baked makeup craze and you've got a fair, light or light to medium skin tone, I think you might be into it. Alrighty friends, I just quickly breezed through a couple things. I did my brows. It's Benefit Precisely by Brow Pencil, and it's the Maybelline Super Lock. It makes me think of a prison when I think of the Super Lock, like Super Max. I don't know. I don't think Maybelline intended your brain to go there, but anyways, I've got my brows done. I did my little e.l.f. eye primer, and for eyeshadow, I'm just trying to keep it simple and get to my next product I want to tell you about. So I used this, my little bronzer. It's in the crease, it's on the lid, and then I'm like, but what about that shade of blush? Like, I want to use that as some eyeshadow, because this, honestly, look at the core of this. This would be a fine eyeshadow. So I took it, I should have done it on camera, but I took it with my crease brush. I just dipped right into the middle, and then I like went over the edge and all the crease area with this. And like I said, I already had the bronzer there, so that affects the color somewhat. But it actually did kind of fade and blend some. It's fine. I do think that would make a good eyeshadow. Like, let's look at a swatch. It's just softly mauve. The next thing I'm going to mention, and these are not brand new. They've been out for a while, but I'm just kind of, it's dawning on me that these are good. These Milani shadow sticks, gilded eyeshadow sticks. Now, they've got a range of them. They've got some softer metallics, but you know me, I'm kind of into the shades that could become lazy liner. I don't know why I swatched them literally right in line with my scar from being burned by my oven. Disregard. But over here we've got the brown one called Terra. We've got the green here, which these have been on my hands a little bit and I've kind of been rubbing on them. I've been trying to mess them up the whole video, but they don't really want to be messed up. But this green one called Moss, great alternative to Jungle from Makeup Forever. I'm pumped that I found that. And then this one called Lily makes me think of, I believe it's Amethyst from the Laura Mercier Caviar Stick range. And I just didn't do real big swatches of them to begin with, so I just gave those colors a little more thickness so you can see what we're working with there. But Terra makes a good, like, brown along the lash line type of thing. Either of these, I think, are pretty, you know, upper or lower lash line, particularly Lily on the lower lash line, because it's a little softer than the other two. But I'm just going to take some Terra, and it's not like I was hurting for a good drugstore shadow stick, because you guys know I love the Lay shadow sticks. These feel just as buttery and smooth as those, but they do set. I also love Hard Candy shadow sticks. And of course, from high end, we're liking Laura Mercier. We're liking Laura Geller. Both the Lauras are like, we've got great shadow sticks. Laura Geller is probably the best for doing really nice dark ones, but here I'm taking Terra, that shimmery kind of neutral brown, and I'm just taking it all along my upper lash line, giving her a little smudge on the outside where I got more product applied. But I just love them like that. And some of y'all will be like, well, just draw it all over your lid. And that's just not my favorite way to go, but I'm sure they could do that just fine, because they're super smooth and would be very blendable. I'm sure you'll see moss going forward. Oh, one thing to note, there's like a double snap. At first, I was only snapping the first part of it. There's another firm snap there, and that's probably what's keeping them creamy, if you think to do that. And then here comes Lily, this really pretty kind of smoky, dusty mauve with a little lilac in it. And that's just a great, excellent depth level on the lower lash line. Could be upper lash line too, depending on the depth of your shadow. You know, if you've got a softer shadow look, this will show. If you have a really deep shadow look, this won't show. But I'm just putting it along there. And sometimes sticks like this will swatch and hang on and seem like they're perfect, but for whatever reason, they just don't wear on the eye very well. These wear well on my eyes. Those would be the shades I'm into most. And yeah, it's like just another option. I feel like Lily is darker than Pony from the Hard Candy line, but they're not too far away from each other. But they're really ultra creamy. So if you love a L'Oreal Lace Shadow Stick, but you're thinking they just don't have this shade or that shade that I really want, you might look to this range. You might be really into Moss, or you might love Lily, because those, you know, I have a dark green, for example, from the Lace Shadow Stick Smoky range, but it's much darker than Moss. But yeah, just shout out, revelation there. And then also from Milani, we're trying a new mascara. This is their highly rated Fan Club. Fan Club is the new thing. Fanning mascara. This was sent in PR. Look. Buildable formula that lengthens and defines every lash corner to corner for an instant fanned out effect. It's got shea butter, it's got pro vitamin B5, so it's going to condition lashes as you wear it. We're going to pop this on today. I've used this a couple times. It's got this curved brush that's kind of chunky really, and is holding some product. You know, you can see it visibly on the brush, and that's usually a good sign for me, because that means it will build up a little faster than some. So I'm going to curl my lashes first. Okay, cleaned it off just a little bit on the tip there, because as with most mascaras, it comes out holding some. But it does feel like that curve actually fits my eye pretty well. And see what I mean? It takes to the lashes really quickly, because the brush hasn't been 100% cleaned off through the little tunnel it passes through. There's one quick coat. Like, that looks good. I like this better than Milani's tubing mascara, their take on Thrive. I just feel like that one remains wet for a long time. And this does come in a brown too. I was sent the brown as well. Is it gonna be warm today, or are we still talking a cold, bitter wind? I got a really good warm coat, so I'll be fine. But okay, it is gonna warm up into the mid 40s by later, but they're still saying high winds. We've got a special weather statement. I don't need the Candy Crush ad right now. Yesterday we had some snow flurries in the morning. I'm definitely thinking of all you guys who are up in the Northeast dealing with a blizzard. Hope you're staying safe and warm. Okay, I really curled that side. My left side can use all the help she can get. But just like a quick couple passes and you're seeing it on my lashes. Normally I feel like maybe a brush that's this thick and kind of somewhat large and also curved would bug me a little bit more than it does, but it really just feels like the proper shape. One coat each side. Like, I feel like this could be categorized as a mascara that's working really well for me, and feels like the dry down, like just the amount of time it took for me to come over here and apply a little bit more. Now I'm back over here and I can tell, like, yeah, it's starting to be a partial dry down, which is perfect for building. But yeah, I'm enjoying this one, guys. I'm gonna do my e.l.f. lash extender on the lower lashes, and I could maybe take one more coat of this just to see, but so far so good with this one. The e.l.f. is on my lower lashes. I went ahead and put on one more coat. It's maybe starting to look a little thick and chunky, but honestly, I feel like this mascara could take as many coats applied as you have the patience to do, you know, like it's good. This brings us to the last thing in the video. I have been a little bit critical, maybe just in my mind, when I see these get ready with me's, like usually in short videos, and I feel like people are just doing it for the visual. These lip stains that peel off, and they're applying them like a lip liner. I don't even know what brand everybody's using, but it's like you put them on as though they're a lip liner, and it looks really, really dark, and then you let it sit there a couple minutes and it peels off. Now you would think, with me loving to peel off the film of a mirror, that this would really appeal to me, and that part does kind of seem fun, but I can't help but think, like, why not just do a lip stain? Like, why not just grab one of these and just put it on all over, and there's no second step, and your lips are even with color. So the argument might become, well, just put the thing all over, peel it off entirely. I tried that yesterday, and a lot of little, like, pieces were left on there, and then I start scraping at it, and then my finger and under my nail gets stainy looking. So they do say peel off liner. That's what this is. This is from Hard Candy. The shade is Nude Ink. I think they had one deeper option that I saw in at Walmart. 24-hour tattoo effect, transfer proof. I will say it does seem to last the whole day. When I wore this on Sunday, I had it on as liner, and when everything else faded, I could still see this as liner. In a way, I'm like, wow. And in another sense, I'm like, do I like that look? I've got to touch up. I got to add something else in. Easy to use paddle tip, they say. I do feel like it was fairly easy. This shade is Nude Ink. One thing you're going to notice, and I think is just the nature of the beast of this peel off product, is it does feel kind of thick, like a thick syrup or something. And you're going to just put it on and it's going to have that stark, dark look. Like I said, I tried doing it all over my lips. It doesn't always have the cleanest peel off. And when I put it all over my lips, I felt like I was just opening myself up to more peel off weirdness because it just wanted to cling in a lot of places. I dipped in freshly because you don't want it to be super thin. You want that thick swipe. And I'm wondering if maybe in the times I had residue, maybe I didn't get it thick enough in certain areas. So I feel like I'm thick now. But it looks wildly dark and then it peels off and it leaves this soft kind of medium nude, slightly brownish stain. So we're gonna hang out and we're gonna just pretend like life is normal here with this on. Hi, Bisky. Oh, she's rolling. She knows I'm having downtime. I wanna know your take in the comments section. Are these silly? Would you just go for a stain? Just use a normal stain all over and then you have even color? Because like these last a long time. I'm not totally sold on this, but I do kind of like peeling it. Do I need a little blend sort of between the blush and the under eye? Let me take a little of this Laura Geller, the Baked Blurring and Setting. It said leave it for just how long? 60 seconds, so we're ready. So we're gonna take this. Look. Look, guys. It's still in one piece. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. It looks like you're holding like a flake of fire roasted tomato, but look, that's what it was supposed to do. It did it perfectly. It didn't leave like a little piece of the darkness on there. That was what it was supposed to do. And I was really mindful to make it be thick all across, and I think that helped. Let's do the lower part. Ooh, I think maybe if you have dry patches on your lips, sometimes that's where it wants to stick. Oh. Look, I just got a few. See, I'm real dry right there. A couple little flecks. But look, we did it. I wonder if I could just take a little spoolie brush, treat it like it's mascara. There. Don't use your fingers because it just stains your fingers. But there's our stain. That's the idea. That's what it's looking like on people. When they peel it off, you're seeing this kind of softly lip-lined stain. And that will stay on all day. And I'm wondering if I did take care to do a really thick layer top and bottom all over the lips, I could have that stain all over, maybe with no problem. I don't think you want to put this on lips that have any product on it, but the better condition your lips are in, the less like texture on your lips, I think the better experience you're going to have here. But how do we finish this look? I think we need some kind of gloss or lipstick or something. Hang on, let me figure this out. If what you put on top of this is too transparent, you're just going to see that unblended line. So I'm going to do some lipstick over this. I'm going to use this lip filter and souffle. I keep wanting to call these a lip souffle when I look at the shade name. It's almost an exact match for that liner color. There's that. I don't know, the satisfaction of peeling it off today and peeling it off well without a lot of little residue hanging on might almost be worth it. And then I'm using a little lip oil that I just don't use often. It's my Dior Lip Glow Oil. It's the Mahogany shade. I feel fancy. It looks basically clear, maybe just a little step off from clear, but I'll put that on. Nice. Okay. Who would know that we had a fun peeling experience this morning? So that's my video, friends. A little 5-in-1 review. What was your favorite product that we talked about today? We had the Complexion Rescue Stick. That feels like ages ago. We had the new shade of Blush to Me from CoverGirl, the Milani Shadow Sticks, the mascara, and the peel off lip. I would say everything performed well today. I really am pumped that the Complexion Rescue Stick is back in the mix. My skin is feeling good. Like, it looks radiant still, but like, can you see as I actually turn it? That's when you can really tell. Like, there is hydration here. I'm just not too tacky to the touch. I enjoyed the new shade I tried of that CoverGirl blush. This makes it into a category of mascaras that work for me, and I'm glad about that. So that's not an easy club to enter, and Milani just did that. The peel off lip liner, I want to hear everybody's experiences with this. It's not the most practical thing, and the job could have gotten done. That shade, if you came away liking that shade, I think Cherry Cola from e.l.f., if you just want an all over stain that's just gonna boop stain and stain you all over with ease, that's the one. But thank you for your time, everyone. I will see you again very soon. I love you. Bye.